This is your Friday Refresh brought to you by Liberté Ministries. You can find more info on them at travisloveshaiti.com. The last couple of weeks, we have been talking about the village and how we derive many benefits from relationships, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Some of you, however, have had bad experiences with your village, whether it's a school or a church or a family. It happens sometimes that we end up in a village that has been more hurtful than helpful. So for just a moment, let's talk about ways to identify toxic relationships and what to do about them. First, let me encourage you to not have the cognitive distortion of all or nothing thinking. Unfortunately, I've seen people write off all family, marriage, and even church because of their personal bad experiences. While I cannot claim to have had your experience or completely understand what you have been through, I do know that it is unfair and actually unreasonable to assume that your experience is the only experience and that just because it's happened once or even a couple of times, that it means it'll happen every time. In fact, that is both all or nothing thinking and overgeneralizing. So see the book Feeling Good by David Burns for a full list of those cognitive distortions that we often use that leads us to feeling bad. It is almost certain that every situation, though, will not be bad. So how do you identify unhealthiness in relationships? Well, here are a couple of questions to consider to help you. First, is there distrust? Do you trust the people in the village, your family, church, club, or group? Do you consider them selfish or selfless? We generally do not trust those we believe to be selfish, and that is probably a safety mechanism built in that is a good thing. Selfish people don't have mine or your best interest at heart, and it can end in a lot of heartache if you allow them to have control over your heart and your mind, which leads us to the next thought. Is there control? Financially, do they control everything that you spend or that you try to? Do they financially tie your hands to try to keep you under their control? Do they use authority or power to keep you under their thumb? Or they may employ another tactic of control, like thirdly, manipulation. Many in toxic relationships believe that if they threaten to hurt you or themselves, that it will lead you to do what they want. Shame and guilt are also tools that can and often will be used. I certainly cannot tell you what you can or should do in your individual situation, only that it is unhealthy. And if it can't be changed or improved on, then make steps toward removing yourself if there are no other options. Certainly, before making a serious change, consult with a counselor or a trusted family member or a spiritual advisor about options that best suit your situation. But don't go it alone. Whether you have found it yet or not, there is a safe village for you out there somewhere. And that is your Friday Refresh.